Hi, this is Tom Jacobs from tdjacobs.com. I'm an evolutionary astrologer and an energy worker and a channel. And this video today is about some energetically programmed crystals, which I'm now offering to prep for and also support you with the process that this Leo new moon eclipse taking place on August 21st will be about. So last month or recently for a Capricorn new moon, I did an experiment where I took black stones, black agate, which are typically said to be grounding and protective, and I put heart-opening Saint Germain compassionate energy in them, and they're actually grounding and softening and opening at the same time. So I decided to do that as a little ritual right around the time of that new moon. So this one I'm doing ahead of time because you're hearing a lot about the eclipse and how important it's going to be. It's in all these different things. In my personal process and then also in my astrology practice, I don't go crazy about eclipses. I say, whatever the lunation would normally be, then there's a punch, there's a oomph, and there's perhaps a lasting effect or the need to make a change. But all lunations are about making changes. So anyway, you're not going to find a lot of The Great American Eclipse by Tom J. Whatever. I'm not going to be doing that. But these two different energetically programmed crystals that I want to tell you about. One of them I have offered in the past, and I haven't done that many of them. I don't sell that many of them. I don't promote them that much because they're just personally kind of challenging for me to work with because they can be very energizing. And they are Shiva lingams, these nice little friends. And what they do is they help you take action when you need to. Well, I'm pretty Mars, Uranus in the first. I'm kind of all over the place. Third house moon, can't sit still many times. That's why I work on the grounding process so much. But they're about the collision of masculine and feminine energies within you. Now that can stir sexuality, that can stir creativity, that can also help you act when you need to, and also pause and hold back when you need to. So if you're impatient and overactive, it can help you kind of see how to moderate that. If you're underactive and can't get going, it's fantastic for that. And I will say that some people who have some very intense histories of abuse or histories of intense abuse sometimes find them immediately comforting. So just keep that in mind, and pacifying and grounding. Keep that in mind if that is something that you've experienced or someone you know. They're programmed with Metatron's energy. And Metatron is very intense and powerful and uncompromising. So there's a very deep charge in these. Normally they're $33 to $44 plus shipping. For this, leading up to this lunation, I've made all of them on my site, and there are 8 there right now, $22 to encourage you. Because this new moon eclipse in Leo, it's toward the end of Leo, right? It's 2853 or something like that, Leo, and it's conjunct the asteroid Persephone. So this is an eclipse that's conjunct an asteroid that's about you abducting yourself into a new seed of Leo time, a new chapter of Leo energy in your life. So it's easy for me to say, trust yourself, trust your inspiration, trust your gut instinct. These are all kind of new moon and Leo ideas. What matters to you? What do you have to say personally? But a lot of that comes in with you need to assert a third chakra truth. So I need to explain the third chakra thing because I think that's a huge thing for this lunation, and it's going to be relevant to the second stone I talk about in a few minutes, the yellow Jasper. The third chakra is a seat of personal power. If you have guilt or shame, or you are embarrassed, or you judge yourself about something about yourself, or you have internalized others' judgments of you, it will come out in your third chakra. It's the battery that powers the rest of your life. Self-image is the power source that generates how your life is going. So with the Shiva Lingam, it can help stir lower chakra energies and shake loose reasons that you hold back from being empowered through self-interested choices. An affirmation for the third chakra is, all of my choices are based in self-respect and lead to self-care. And if you do that all the time, you will catch the parts of you who are inspired to make choices based in guilt, fear, shame, regret, self-doubt, embarrassment. I don't want to do something that would make me stand out too much, that kind of thing. We have a new moon eclipse in Leo, so you need to stand out. You need to invest in your gut and trust it. So the idea with the Shiva lingams, let me show you with a third example. Just the idea with the Shiva lingams is to stir some things so you can say, all of my choices are based in self-respect and lead to self-care, and you can do what you need to do. The other affirmation for the third chakra is, I alone define who I am. And this is where we get into the territory of the third chakra can be used if you are monitoring your motivations for choices and you're stepping back from those choices made in guilt, fear, embarrassment, shame, self-doubt, regret, whatever, judgment, self-criticism, and you're moving into more self-respecting choices, then I alone define who I am can be a course correction for lower two chakra things, which are in the root chakra, you might define yourself because of what a community or a family or a group or even a company expects of you. You might be defined by how others, accept you into this circle, but you might not fit. But I just got distracted because this example that comes to mind for me is I'm kind of a broad-shouldered guy. I'm average height, but I'm kind of broad-shouldered and have a little meat on my bones. And when I was a teenager and I was getting into all things music, random people I'd run into, like friends of my dad and meet family friends of friends of friends, people would say stuff like, oh, you're going to be a great football player. And I was like, I'm a musician. Forget that. And I had disdain for that. I didn't appreciate that. Well, what they're saying is, you're part of our tribe. That's what we think somebody with this physique would do really well doing. So there's an example of this group saying, the town, the community saying, oh yeah, that's who you are, right? So we need to essentially in our root chakras be grateful that we belong, yet, not get too caught up in what others expect of us or how they see us. So again, that can be community, it can be family, or any groups we're part of in the root chakra. Second chakra, we can define ourselves based in how other individuals see us and what they want from us and what they give us and how they treat us. So the third chakra, I alone define who I am, and all of my choices are based in self-respect and lead to self-care. All of that stuff can help course correct the two lower chakra definitions to get us up to speed of, I define who I am because I'm creating self-respect through all my choices. So that's the kind of groove we want to get into. I think with this Leo new moon, like I said, it's easier for me to say, trust yourself. What do you want? With the Leo idea, what inspires you? What new chapter, what new phase do you want to start? And that all comes back to, do I trust myself? And the huge part of that is the third chakra health to correct any imbalances in chakras 1 and 2. So that's kind of the motivation here. And very specifically, these Metatron-infused stones, the Shiva Lingam, can help stir that creative energy and also shake loose things from the lower two chakras so you can see how to make some third chakra healthy self-assertion. Yeah, I can trust myself. I don't, maybe I don't feel like I belong. Maybe I don't necessarily want what others expect of me. I want to take that on, or to define myself in how, there's a huge thing in metaphysical circles of people needing, and me included, needing to create conscious co-creative community now, because we may not feel connected to the communities we were born into or come from. Another example for me is, I don't relate to Judaism, but this is the history of my mom's side of the family. My dad's side of the family was Lutheran, but they're not really that religious, at least not my dad and his parents, not terribly religious. But my mom's family was. And when I was 16, I woke up. When I was 16, I actually read what was in the prayer book, and I said, wait a minute, I don't think that's what God really wants. and I had to distance myself from it. Well, can I stay connected to family without distancing myself? Can I make self-respecting choices but still know that I belong? This is a challenge for people who are on metaphysical or spiritual growth, healing pathways. So anyway, so that's what the Shiva Lingam is for, stirring the lower two chakras so you can establish some third chakra self-awareness and self-trust, self-respect. The other one is, I'm calling it sea jasper. Well, it's sea jasper. I'm calling it yellow jasper. So this is kind of a longer story. I think I'm going to tell you, just as long as the two of us are here, I'll tell you. Essentially, regular sea jasper, let me get another example over here. So these are other examples of sea jasper. They're layered, they're multicolored, and they have those little orbs in there. It's also called orbicular jasper and ocean jasper. Ocean jasper is trademarked, so I tend not to use it that much. Like I'm not going to pay someone a quarter just because whatever, and I'm not going to use a little R. But anyway, it's layered, it's banded, it's got some interesting things. It's actually not jasper, it's chalcedony, which is in the family of quartz, but people just call it sea jasper or orbicular jasper, ocean jasper. Here is another example of it. It's kind of harder to see some of the orbs, but when you can see the gradations in the white and the little circles, they're in there. And then also this one, which is my favorite little piece. I had to keep it for myself. So there's quartz. You can quite plainly see the quartz crystals and the shiny, shimmery bit, right? And also the kind of circly things and then the tiny little distinct orbs. So that's kind of what sea jasper normally looks like. Yeah, this is what I wanted to show you. It's a better example of orbs and quartz where you can see that in there. This is another one of mine that I kept for myself and I used. But the point is I bought this sea jasper rough that doesn't have orbs before I knew that the orbs were what enables the Neptunian process for surrender, letting go, going with the flow, adapting to higher wisdom, relaxing the mind, and its mandate to try to control everything. That's what I value is the orbs, and that's what the orbs do. I don't know why, but that's just how it works. Newer stuff coming out of the ocean now, it's in northwest Madagascar. The newer stuff, most of it doesn't have orbs, and if it does, they're really ill-defined. Let me see if I have an example. You can kind of see it in this one, like up here in this side. There are a couple little round things up here, little round ones, but most of them are kind of blurry and they're not really well defined. Anyway, sorry, a little distracting. So anyway, when I cut into this rock, I was totally bummed because it doesn't have the orbs. And I said, I just bought, I don't know, 17, 18 pounds of sea jasper that doesn't have orbs. So I did some research and I cut into it and made a few pieces and polished it up. And this is one of the first pieces I made. You can see these little green starburst. Let me get a good focus here. You can see the little green starburst things that are kind of circular, these little bits, and then you can see the quartz inclusions, and it's yellow and green layered. And then it's also got, a lot of it's got this layer of little quartz crystals, sometimes called druzy, which actually makes it valuable when it's attractive colors. So I was like, what am I going to do with all these? And I made a few pieces, and I sat with it, and I put some energy into it, and I meditated with it. I did not connect with it at all. Gave apparently 3 to my girlfriend. I was like, where do these go? She produced them the other day. And she connects with it, and with her third chakra, and even connecting her third to her fourth, kind of opening a channel so she's all connected all up and down. So when I actually recently made a list of all the things that I have purchased and haven't used. 10 pounds of that, 5 pounds of this, over 15 pounds of this. So I said, I'm going to figure out a way to use it. And so I'm doing research on yellow jasper, which is essentially what it is. Yellow jasper is for the third chakra. So I cut up more pieces this week, and I spent a lot of time because it's actually extremely hard material. It's crazy hard material. So while this other stuff, I was showing you is more like chalcedony and not jasper, true jasper, which is actually hard. This stuff seems more like true jasper and is super hard. So I've been spending a lot of time researching yellow jasper, green jasper, and spending time with these, and they activate the third chakra. So again, this Leo new moon eclipse, get into your gut, figure out what's right for you, and act on it, but you have to trust yourself. The asteroid Persephone is conjunct the lunation, so you have to abduct yourself, even if part of you is sitting there feeling like a child or pre-adolescent or clueless and naive. That's normal for Persephone. You must abduct yourself into something more meaningful with this Leo eclipse. So that's what these are for. So I spent a great deal of time the last 10 days or so, and you can see in this one here, that kind of dark line at the top is actually quartz. The light is terrible, but it's actually translucent, and you can see down into layers of it. And some of it is a little more green than others of it. But anyway, I'm excited to offer these, and the idea is to stabilize the third chakra. So if you're carrying self-judgment, guilt, shame, or regret, these stones are going to press that button. And whatever it is that makes you feel those ways, including judging past choices, including perceiving you didn't do something well enough or you don't deserve happiness, something like that, that actually ends up leaking personal power so you're not making self-interested decisions, it will reveal those things to you. And I think the reason, incidentally, that I don't connect with them, what actually happens when I work with them a lot is I get a headache. And that's about me, because the third chakra stuff I have to work on, part of me is very resistant to, and the energy therefore gets kind of pushed up into my sixth chakra, and I'm like, I don't want to deal with this. So because the material is so incredibly hard, I have spent an absurd amount of time polishing even just one side. Like even with this piece, you can see on one side there's that druzy crystal quartz stuff, and then that's not polished, that's not polished, that's not polished. The top isn't. It's only this. I made a little like pillow. You can see the curvature. Took literally forever. I use it as an opportunity to get to know more about these parts of me, and I staved off the headache, but as I was charging them, I was getting the headache. So it's just this whole process. You're not going to get a headache when you get one, but it's going to reveal to you what you judge about yourself and why. So I did put grounding energy in them. They are specifically for the third chakra. We don't typically think of the third chakra as getting grounded. When I talk about that, I'm talking about the root chakra, sending cords from your root to your first chakra and your feet down into the earth. But these are charged with grounding energy as well. So when I'm done with this video, while it's rendering, I'm actually going to create a web page, and in the comments or the description of this video, you'll see a link to the Shiva Lingam page, as well as the yellow Jasper page, the yellow, green, quartzy Jasper page. I'm really excited about this because this is actually good guidance for the third chakra. So I'll tell you, I don't make mistakes when I buy things. So if you can look at yourself as a work in progress, understanding that every choice is there for a reason, like I didn't buy that so I could waste money or be bummed because this Jasper doesn't have orbs and it doesn't act like the sea Jasper that I am craving, and that's why I bought so much of it, because I'm always craving more sea Jasper. But the old stock is gone, so that's why I end up buying a lot of preformed, pre-shaped, like this is shaped to be a massage wand. I end up buying those because when you can find the orbs, you got to jump on it. But anyway, I didn't make a mistake. It's for another purpose that I don't know. So in the third chakra, if you have a self-image of, I'm a work in progress. I am learning how to make choices as I go, and I'm willing to not try to control everything. That's a really good way to approach a third chakra. So it wasn't a mistake. I realize now a couple years later. Here's another purpose for these yellow Jasper stones. I'll just show you another one, a little one that has the quartz on all three sides, which is kind of magical because it must have been a scrap or something, because I wouldn't have just cut a weird little triangle. Anyway, so I was, anyway, I guess I'm a little punchy. But there's no such thing as a mistake from the perspective of your guides and your soul. So if you can get into that groove, and I think it's perfect that I was inspired to buy this and then found out that it didn't serve the purpose I originally intended. So now I'm going to have these as a regular offering, and I have so much of it that I'll have plenty of opportunities to get into my own third chakra blocks and make some more pieces over the next few months. So yeah, today is August 13th, and as of tonight, these both of these are going to be on sale. And as I said, the Shiva lingams are 22, each one of them, instead of 33 or 44. The reason those have been expensive is because essentially I can charge 2 at a time, and it takes a long time to get Metatron's intense frequency and put it in the right way, so that I'm not overwhelmed. But yeah, I want to inspire you to play with these and get your Leo new moon eclipse energies going. So thanks for your time and energy. Take care of yourself. Be in touch with questions. I'm on the web at tdjacobs.com. Take care.